The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussions.
Right. Kliq This, another Kliq This. Kliq This 101, if you're keeping track. The Kevin Nash I almost said the Kevin Hart podcast just now, by the way, because we were just railing.
Yeah, because we're so similar.
Kevin, certain angles, when you turn the light out prematurely before we get off the air together a little bit, we were just railing on him before the. So he's not accepted with the brothers and the sisters, is what I'm hearing. If our resident spokes sister Britt is correct in the live audience here, who said her peoples don't fuck with Kevin Hart. So we were just trying to figure out why. I was completely clueless as to that.
As was the black fucking...
the vernacular that I just did?
Yeah, that was
good.
Fucking brutal.
That was good. So...
Why does every black person sound like they're on the Cosby cartoon?
Well, listen, there's the generic white person voice that Eddie Murphy used to put on all the time, and so it's it's a cousin of that. Is all. Kev, traveling again this weekend. This is you've been out of the house a bit.
Yeah, I actually told my wife last night. I said, "Fuck!" I said, "I really hate traveling now."
You dropped that 2 nights before you get on the plane, I noticed.
No, I mean I'm loving the fact that I'm going home. I mean, this is going to Michigan and it's fucking a hassle.
It's not work though, right? You're going back to see your sister?
Well, I mean, I have a gig.
Oh, you do? All right.
Yeah. So I mean, to me that's the saving grace, is like I'm not losing,
Right.
But what happened was, like, last weekend I was in New Orleans. I did a show there, and
you took some great pictures of food.
Yeah.
A couple of great dishes. Were they looked amazing.
The curry goat, and the other one was a crayfish on a fresh pasta with the
on
dripping.
The pasta. Oh, and that cream sauce. Oh my God, that looks so. Yeah, which one is that now? That's the goat.
That's the goat. The curry goat. And
that's
the
crawfish God, I would have
pasta.
destroyed that. Tremendous.
A friend of mine's contacted me, and she said, "What did you pair those with?" I'm like, "I'm not drinking." And there was just like this, like, when did this happen? Like, I know I haven't seen you because we used to be on the circuit, the autograph circuits, and her and I would always drink wine together. And it was like,
this is a wrestler or an actor?
No, she was Sandy Taylor. I think she was
Wasn't she a Penthouse Pet?
Yeah, and a Playmate. I think this is like the same year. She used to be on Stern all the time.
The time. Sandy Korn, her name was.
Yeah,
then she became Sandy. I guess she got married, Sandy Taylor. Yeah. How's she holding up, Sandy Taylor? How are we doing?
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yeah? Okay.
Beautiful.
Anything going on upstairs? I always got the sense that maybe it was
her.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So she was. You think she would play that up a little bit, that persona.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. No, she's.
Yeah. So this is a current?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just had to check. Yeah. I remember her in her youth. So one of them.
Yeah, she's very intelligent lady.
So you were. Yeah. So you're not. So you didn't have any wine or anything like that.
No, I had ice water, which kind of sucks. As life goes on and you don't drink, you realize, like, I'm looking at everybody else in the place and they got a glass of red wine in front of them. I'm thinking, I had my blood work done today, so I told my wife, I said, if my liver enzymes are the same, then there's no reason. I mean, if I don't have any, if there's
Then
not
shit's on.
I mean, well, my blood pressure was. I mean, my blood pressure was like 63 over 113. Like when they took my blood pressure before they took my blood.
113 over 63. You mean?
Yeah, 113 over 63.
Yeah.
And
that bottom number's a little low, no? 63. Shouldn't it be above 70?
I don't know. I mean, I was sitting at home watching TV. I got in my car. I drove over. I hadn't had any caffeine. I hadn't had much food because I was trying to do it fasting the best I could. But I mean, I just got to the point where I gave blood at 4, and then I had to dump 500 milliliters because I'm on TRT. So then every three months I've got to dump 500 milliliters to keep my hemoglobin down so I don't stroke out. So
because testosterone naturally raises
your red blood count.
Okay.
That's why you become vascular. Like people, like I'm very vascular because I've got,
Yeah.
But it was I could tell when he took my blood today that it's usually like more of a purple color, and today it was looked like blood should. It looked red, and he said that's because your blood's more oxidated. He says that's because you're more hydrated. So without the alcohol, which dehydrates you over the course of 100 and whatever days it's been now.
Right.
So
now Keith Richards, I remember, always used to do that.
he
would do
his out.
transfusions, right? He would do.
No, they would switch it out in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm, right.
Yeah. Did you see fucking Taylor Swift came out with the Stones? It was on Instagram.
No. At a Stones, at one of the Stones concerts.
Yeah, and she sang with him. Mick Jagger sounded amazing, and it was just. And I'm thinking like he's not auto-tuned because she's. I mean, I'm like, God, Mick Jagger is just that. There's a portrait. There's a portrait of Dorian Gray / Mick Jagger somewhere, man.
I mean, that's all they've ever known is that, right? So they just do what they've always known. But I will say, I was considering going on this tour. I was very hot on the new, call it a record. I don't know what the fuck you call it now. The new drop.
I still call them albums.
All right,
still
so we can
an
say
album.
that's still an album. All right. I didn't know if that described the physical piece or not. But anyway, so I was considering going, ended up not going when I saw the tour was sponsored by AARP, and I threw the card across the room. But I'm watching.
You would have got a 15% discount.
I know I would have. So I'm watching it now, and exactly what I'm seeing is the reason that I was always hesitant to go see them. There's 16 guitars on stage now. There's multiple synthesizers,
singers.
I think. There's just like what percentage am I getting of Keith and Mick?
Watch the Mick Jagger, Taylor Swift. Watch that. There's.
Now, did they do the duet from the new album that he recorded with?
No, I think it was
an old song.
It's an old song.
Okay.
Song.
Because he did.
I think she's playing the guitar. But I might be wrong.
Maybe it was just Keith, and just the lighting was bad.
No, it was definitely Taylor.
He did Lady Gaga. He does a song with on the new record, which is very good. Yeah,
I never was much of a Lady Gaga fan until A Star Is Born. And then I was after that.
She's wildly talented.
Yeah.
Sometimes the star element tamps that stuff down with people. Who knows what so and so would be capable of if.
Well, if you didn't listen to her music and you didn't investigate her, she kind of came across from afar as a Madonna ripoff.
Right.
And then when you watch her, the Star is Born, and she's got brown hair, and she's at a piano, and she's singing, and it's her, and you go, wow, that's special.
More talented than, musically talented than Madonna ever was, I could say. I was a Madonna fan in that I liked what she did with her PR. I liked how she was a star. It's very bright in your room today, Kevin. For the first time, I am more Cherokee than you.
Well, it's because I've got the
drapes, right?
I've got the hurricane shutters up.
Right.
I'm looking over. There's this older woman. I guess she's banished from smoking in the condo across the way here. So she comes out like. Just fucking over there, just hitting a strum like. Finish this cigarette, and we're gonna execute you. Fuck.
I saw a dude when I was having my kitchen floors redone right after we bought the house. Guy sent his workers over who were less articulate than he and maybe a little rougher around the edges. It was an Asian crew that was doing it. So I was smoking at the time. This is a long time ago. So I stood on the porch and I had a cigarette with this little Asian fella. I gave him a light and he put it in his mouth and he went. He dragged the fucking thing. Would take a breath. It would emit from every hole in his head and then right back into it. About 45 seconds, the damn cigarette was done. Dropped the butt, went back inside, went back to work.
I remember when Rude first came from WWF to WCW, and he had the long robe, and this is when he cut his hair short, and he'd smoke cigarettes.
Yes, he did.
And he said he was backstage, and they'd play his music, and Medusa would walk to the ring with him, and he'd be smoking a cigarette. He'd fucking drag it. I mean, it was just like he'd make love to that thing. Just you take that last drag, he'd fucking drop it, blow the smoke out of his nose like a dragon, and put the cigarette out with his boot, and then fucking kick the thing open. And you're thinking like. See, that's why people smoke, because that looked really cool.
Right.
And as he comes through the light, the spotlight picks him up. He's got the remnants of the smoke bellowing around him, and so.
See, and he's only going to be in the ring for 10 minutes the most, but he had to get that. That was like before I would get on a plane for a long flight, and I'd stand outside. All right, because you're telling yourself, I can't do this. I can't do this again for another. It becomes a meditative thing, smoking, more psychological than physical, was for me anyway.
But that was like, I remember John Mellencamp, like, he would, I was reading, I think it was an article on him in Rolling Stone, and they were actually an interview on him. He said the first thing he did was he got up and, like, before he even, like, sat up out of bed, he lit a cigarette.
Yeah. I mean, he smoked in his sleep practically, that one.
And he had several heart attacks.
That'll do it.
Just kept fucking smoking right through him. So.
And he's with us today.
Yeah.
Well, not with us on the show, but he's still alive. So it's a testament to his. He probably drinks colostrum, I'm going to guess. I don't know. Kevin, our 100th show was last week, and it touched many people. There was a nice outpouring. You know who it touched that I didn't want to touch? YouTube. Because apparently our count of language and how many times certain words were said was enough to have our show demonetized last week. The 100th show of all things. But I wanted to pull specifically some of the feedback from people who I usually go for entertaining stuff, some good stuff, some bad stuff. But here I just kind of wanted to go and convey our listeners' sentiments after those first 100 shows. It was nice to see some of this. Ha Jax on TV said, Monday mornings are my favorite. I wake up early, throw on YouTube, have myself a light wake and bake, lay in bed, relax, focus, re-energize, and listen to my favorite parasitic one-way friends, Kevin Sean. And once T sings Sophia, I knew all along it was a dream, and the customer service never answers a thing. I return to my shit show of a day. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Big Kev. And mostly, thank you, T. The podcast got me through my dad's death, a relapse, and starting my life over. I appreciate you all so much for reminding me life can be just too sweet. T passed shortly after I was unable to revive my father after he had a massive heart attack. So in a way, feeling Kev's absolute grief allowed me to process mine and ultimately not feel so alone. If I could, I would hug both out you. Also, thank you, Tamara, for sharing Kev's wonderful soul with us. I've watched Kev since I was 8, and he was tagging with Sean, and I've followed Sean since college and kayfabe commentaries. In an odd way, it's like getting to have morning coffee with old friends.
Thanks, man. Sorry about your father. That sucks.
Yeah. HW Crypt Keeper, rewatching episode 100 for the 4th time. I really do love all of you guys. Tristan Nash forever. Daga Rob C, congrats on 100. Many more to come. Kev's shirt was a sit-down Goodfellas vibe last week. You may have to go back for a button-down shirt, Kev. A lot of people pointed that out. They enjoyed the threads. Larry Dunn, 378, congrats on 100, gentlemen. Glad and proud to have never missed an episode. I started a new job 2 weeks before Kliq This started. My godson passed 2 days before T. I feel like we've been on a journey of so many life and global ups and downs together. Thank you for being something real to share and helping me and surely others to a great place. Thank you, Larry. Adrian Gomez, unless you're dead, there's always another flight. Thanks for this week's moment of zen. I fly a lot, and this is my new mantra. That was in response to Kevin being rushed through the airport a little bit.
I'm just wondering. Man, she's just come out, and she's got pajamas on. And I swear to God, she's got like a 120. I wish I could film this woman smoking cigarettes.
The length is massive.
It's unbelievable. And she kind of looks like Joan Rivers. So
okay.
I got that going for me.
So what were the Moors? Were they called Moor? I think was the
Moor was the brown ones.
Oh.
Benson and Hedges were those real long ones.
And skinny, right? Weren't they? Yeah.
Oh, what were those called?
Capri, I think, were the really skinny ones too.
What the
maybe
hell?
That was a later one. Virginia Slim? No.
I can't remember what they were. I was never man.
What did your dad smoke?
My dad
Paul Morse,
smoked.
right? He's a fucking Paul Morse guy, right?
Philip Morris.
Oh, so Philip Morris, the company, had just a brand. It was called Philip Morris.
Yeah, and he had it in a crush-proof box. He always kept them. He kept a wad of cash, and he kept his cigarettes all up in his top pocket.
In the pocket?
Yeah.
Tom Talker 2000. I don't think fans truly understand Kevin. When someone is nearly 65 years old and have put as much time into this business as you have, and also been on the road as much as you were, there comes a time when you give back to your family for being away from everything for so long. You deserve retirement in full.
Yeah, and I mean, if I wanted to, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, retirement to me was when I was 40. Because I knew it like 40-ish, maybe 45. Like I knew I basically had enough money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this place was paid for in '96, so I had 2,400 square feet on the ocean, no matter what.
Right.
And if you would have asked 14-year-old Kevin Nash, looking out at the window in Michigan, watching the snow drop in January,
Said you could have been looking over at a Joan Rivers look-alike with her 2 socks with golf balls dangling off her chest as she sucks on a Benson and Hedges. What would he have said?
He would have said, even as horny as I am, I couldn't get one of that. So I don't know. No, I mean, I just
There's pills
because that was one thing that Chief Jay told me. He said, Big D, he said, get yourself a place you can settle down in. He says, don't listen to the Emperor. Emperor will try to get you to buy the biggest place possible, so you'll have to spend your whole life paying for it, work for this company. So, man, as soon as I had this place, I absolutely had freedom. Because I knew, worst case scenario, that I was going to live on the ocean.
Right. Now, you said that was when you were 40. That would have been what year? Where were you in your career there? 40 was...
40, I was... T was... so I jumped in 96, so it would have been the 4th year of WCW.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good time. I mean...
I was then financial-wise, I was set to retire at 45.
I was going to say, did you plan
Yeah.
for a certain time? You did.
I planned to stop at 45, but I wanted to continue to do film, but I knew that was so sporadic, you know. So I wanted to have like, I think it was set for like $180,000 a year to live off of. So,
Which at that time was phenomenal.
yeah, we were.
I mean, it's good now too, but...
Yeah.
And so why'd you keep working? Was it a matter of, like you told me on a show one time, the ATM just keeps spitting 20s at me?
I can't. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense not to. If you've, and this is what kills me, man, is people. They say you don't understand what it's like. You know, you have no sympathy for the middle class, and you know you don't know what the working man. I'm just like, motherfucker, you got to be kidding me. Like, my mentality, my socialization process is so blue collar, labor orientated, Michigan. I mean, it's just so Detroit, and work ethic. Like, you would never think about if you got a Saturday, a 12-hour Saturday at double time, turning that down. Not a chance. So it's like, when I was bouncing at the Cheetah, I'd do double shifts on Saturdays. I'd work day shift, and I'd work night shift. I'd work day shift by myself and make $300-400, and work night shift. I'd make $1,000 on a Saturday at a strip joint. Might have to get 1 or 2 fights, but I mean, not really, because they're drunk. Just kind of target practice, just throw them out on the cobblestones. But you know, it's like, if there's anybody that understands, like, I came home from the service and I bought a Mercury Bobcat when I came home with my torn up knee. I bought a $1,900 Mercury Bobcat.
I've never even heard of a Bobcat. Steve,
it's a Mercury Pinto. It's the Mercury Pinto. Yeah, that's what. And it's just like, but I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
but I'll tell you one thing. I got a fucking a bucket full of ass in that damn fucking Bobcat. So, boom. Shit, that's some kind of upgrade interior. My shit was.
I was gonna say, did you have the plaid?
I didn't get the screaming Aztec version. I just had
and that color. The last thing I saw something in that color, Steve was driving it in Nashville.
Yeah, well, and running red lights. If you're gonna run a red light, run it in an orange car.
Yeah, stay inconspicuous. The deplorable Chris C. listened to our 100th episode last week and said, myself and Kevin don't see eye to eye on politics. But I do respect the hell out of him. Sean would have been best as a commentator in wrestling. Could have seen him working an angle with Jerry Lawler.
Nice.
I would not have done it.
And I don't understand what like people don't like. Paul Levesque is one of my dearest, closest friends, and I'm sure if you look on his Instagram, there's a picture of him and Stephanie standing right next to Trump in the Oval Office. I mean,
Is there, or are you just?
I've seen the pictures. I don't know if it's on his Instagram, but I know that Linda was in Trump's cabinet. So it's like, and I don't.
Oh, there you go. There they are.
I don't have a problem with that. Those are my friends. Most of them are like family to me. So it's like, I don't. That's the thing that gets me. You hate Trump. I don't hate him. I just don't want him in charge of fucking my country.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Why do they? I know why certain.
Well,
I know why certain people do. Glenn Jacobs is politically motivated with his. He has proclaimed. I don't know if you saw this. That despite the indictments.
Yeah, but he's not. What is he going to do now?
Well, because that's what I said. It's politically motivated, so he's got to stay on the course.
Yeah, so he's already. Once you're on the, me and T used to laugh all the time when we'd be driving someplace and we'd hear Ozzy Osbourne, and he was going off the rails on a crazy train. So you're on a crazy train, but you're so fucking, it's so wild on this train, you're going off the rails. So when you're at that point in your life, when you're going off the rails on the crazy train, you're off the rails. I mean, there's just nothing Glenn can do but just stand there and make sure he's got a red tie on. And if he loses, I mean, he's not. He positions himself with probably 33 to 39% of the country right now, and the GOP will come back. You know, it will come back. I mean, you know, a lot of people thought that we'd never recover from the Democrats would never recover from Carter.
Mm-hmm. I think the Republicans have to find their soul. They have to go back to the messaging that I remembered when I was in college, and this would have been early 90s. It looked like Clinton's presidency, so Bush 1 was the last Republican president before Clinton. So, I mean, people joked about the party of family values, if you remember, but they at least had a galvanizing message. And I just think so much now, and I blame Trump entirely for ruining their party's message. We talked before about how well,
I mean, could you imagine
Constitution, literal interpretation of the Constitution?
Yeah, could you imagine if McCain was still around? Like if McCain was an option?
That would have been. I mean, he would have knocked it out of the park. They don't have.
I'll never forget
that could fill that role.
I mean, there's nobody in that party right now. But I can't say that because if you were this person, you would be ostracized. So you can't. It's
you can't
almost
be that
like
person.
You're
now.
right. So yeah. So if you are McCain
or
and
Mitt
a person
Romney.
says and a person says, no, Obama's a terrorist. He says, no, ma'am. He's not a terrorist. He's a very fine man. We don't agree on everything. Like to have somebody with that kind of fortitude, with that kind
class.
Yeah, but just, and it's like and then what do? Is they give him they give him Palin.
I know.
You know, I mean, I'm glad because you know we got Obama, and you know coming out of that, This is one thing that I don't think that people realize from an economy standpoint. And this is all the people right now that are. We're not in a recession. I don't care. I mean, we've already went over this the numbers, but you have like they're going, yeah, but things were so much less expensive when Trump was in office. Well, we had two options when COVID hit. We either went into a recession, probably a depression, or we had to fucking throw a shitload of paper on top of that, which caused the inflation. So we had to, it's like what's the lesser of two evils?
Yeah.
An inflation that skyrockets, or right now still trying to dig out of a depression. And I they made the right decision. And we just have to live with it. But we also have to be able to look at it and realize it for what it is.
You have to keep it in context, 100%.
Yeah, and it's just like I think that history will be very kind to Biden from what he's done from an infrastructural standpoint. I mean, every time I drive someplace and I slow down because I'm thinking, God, this railroad track I'll bottom out on it. And all of a sudden it's like there's new pavement on it. I'm like, what? I mean, that's not the fact that you drive through any major city and there's 13 cranes, because that's a sign of recession.
Or construction workers, you may know.
Yeah, construction workers I know that haven't been in the gym since November because we're in a recession and they're working two jobs. One's they can't keep up with the commercial real estate, let alone the duplexes they're building. So, I don't know.
Well, I to touch on what you said about COVID, you do have to, and I, obviously not a Trump fan myself, but you do have to, there's got to be a curve in there because of what happened, right? So people always go to the numbers, and you look at any graph, you have to find that dip. There's always that da-da-da-da-da, and then bang, and then the gradual back up. You got to take that section out of the equation.
Well, that's what they've done. That they've taken that year out of Trump's presidency, and they've showed the numbers.
Like what I'm saying, people talk about. You could talk about coming out of COVID, but anything that went on in that time period, like the lows we hit in numbers, it's not accurate data. So
well, they had Fauci on the Hill this week, and in retrospect, I think that my son having a cardiac arrest and passing was the fact that he was immunized and boosted. I think it played a huge part in that whole situation.
How so? Explain this. Tell me what you're thinking.
Because we had another friend of ours who had a son who was going to be a Division I pitcher, and he did the same thing. He got the vaccine and he got the booster, and all of a sudden he had this cardiac COVID. That LeBron James's son had a cardiac arrest.
Right, but how are you linking it to the shot though? Millions of people had the shots,
and there's
two and three times.
There's data that say that it had a huge effect on the age group of males, especially in that upper, like that early 20s, mid 20s, that age group of males. Like I think it was 6. And I mean, I've looked at it. I've looked at the data. So, but at the same time, it's the old hindsight thing. I'm not gonna Monday night,
Monday morning quarterback.
Monday morning. Well, yeah, Monday night. It doesn't matter.
Tuesday morning quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not watching the Monday night game anyway because I just don't. But I watched the Thursday. But it's like at that time, you go back to when it first hit Seattle, when COVID first hit Seattle, and it hit that like nursing home, and there was like. And then it was like, 30 or 40 people were dead. And then all of a sudden it was in New York. And it was like, yeah, but it was like we had it contained. And all of a sudden it was just like that movie, The Andromeda Strain. Like, no, we don't. We don't have this thing contained. Like, this is far from contained. And it was some scary times, man.
Yeah, it was mysterious. It was strange. I hope to God, Kev, that the data is not correct, does not point to, because that opens up a whole other thing, Kevin. Like, you have to weigh, keeping everybody safe at the time, desperate for a vaccination.
I didn't have a choice because I couldn't work for the Screen Actors Guild, and I couldn't work for WWE unless I was vaccinated because I was being tested.
You couldn't go to theaters in New York. There was so much you couldn't do if you didn't have your vaccination card.
Right. So I mean, it was, and I look at both sides of it, but I wouldn't have done things differently because it wasn't like I just aimlessly, I did the research that I could. The fact that it always scared me, the fact that we came up with a vaccine so quickly. Because the only way you can come up with a vaccine is to reverse engineer the actual virus. And the only way
it was the SARS. It was the SARS vaccination, but they took. I'm going to explain this incorrectly because my medical degree is so old. They took the component that you kind of click in,
the protein,
specific to the disease, but the vehicle. The delivery system, all of it was the SARS-2 vaccine, I believe. And what they did was that piece that was the SARS connecting came out, and then the COVID connection went in. And that's why I think that's what contributed to the speed, because they didn't have to do it from scratch.
Or you can be the conspiracy theory and say that when they looked at the actual COVID virus that was being worked on Wuhan, it goes from like a German pharmaceutical company to something else, and then to the Bill Gates, Bill and whatever her name is, Melinda Gates Foundation. So it's just like, and 2 years earlier, he's saying the only way that this world's going to make it is if we lose 3 billion people. And, so you always
make an interesting film, I guess. I don't know if I buy it, but
I mean, Soderbergh already did Contagion, so I mean, it's kind of.
We still don't know where it came from, but that's not unusual if you look at the.
No,
it takes decades sometimes to have an inkling of where.
I always
AIDS,
thought
they still.
Yeah, I always thought that Tom Jones was the original host. Can't prove it.
The first, the original host of
COVID.
Sure, why not? Jones is cool, man. You can't fuck with Tom Jones, man.
Yeah, that's
He's
my
not
mom's
in Kevin
favorite.
Hart's class. He's cool. He's got creds everywhere. You know what else is cool? The threads I'm wearing right now. This shirt. This is such a light summer shirt, and this is CHUBBIES, Kev. I want to introduce you and everyone to CHUBBIES.
So how did you get that? I don't have this.
We had a size discussion. I think we're held up trying to get your size correct, Kevin.
Okay. Story of my fucking life.
Length of the short area needs to be, but we'll talk about that after. But everyone out there, this is your opportunity to get 20% off your order of Chubbies. Summer is here, and these are the kind of threads we're talking about, okay? This lightweight linen shirts. I mean, I would sleep in this thing. It's so comfortable, all right? And I did get the shorts. I actually got that color right there, that silver color, the 5.5-inch length. So it's a shorter short, so I look like the younger folk today. But
I was going to say the girl at Hooters, but go ahead.
I'm glad I'm glad you're looking through those rose-colored glasses when you look at me. Guys, summer's here. Sky's out, thighs out. All right? Our friends at Chubbies are bringing the good thibrations. Chubbies is a lifestyle apparel brand that makes every moment feel like a vacation, okay? They say fashion is an expression of one's character, so why not let the world know you are down for a good time? Chubbies offers a variety of high-quality men's apparel, from super stretchy shorts to swim trunks, and in 3 short inseam lengths. All right, there's pants, polos, button-down shirts. Take a look there. Look at the fun they're having on the beach. You could be having that kind of fun, too, with the ukulele and the backwards cap. Listen, for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with this exclusive code. Guys, go check out this selection. It was so easy to order, and the selection, the pictures are great. There are lots of photos and all the different short lengths
got the
you
rock.
can see. The tattoo there, you see him with the
they got the rock on their deal,
and I think Tiny Tim on the far end is doing that with the blue shorts, and maybe a little George Lopez in the front there with the ukulele. Guys, ChubbiesShorts.com. I want you to go there now. ChubbiesShorts.com and use the code KLIQ KLIQ for your 20% off. Experience the unmatched comfort and style of Chubbies' iconic original stretch shorts, 4-inch, 5.5-inch, or 7-inch. I went for the 5.5-inch. I think it's a fine length. Friday shirts, the classic linen swim collection. I'm wearing a Friday shirt right now. Casual button-downs, retro-inspired prints. You'll be fashionable, super comfortable, amazing quality. So whether you are getting dressed for your workday or a workout or a weekend getaway, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our viewers, exclusively Kliq This viewers, 20% off your order with the code KLIQ, KLIQ, at ChubbiesShorts.com. That's code KLIQ at ChubbiesShorts.com. Support our show. Tell them we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies.
I got a question for you. So on the waistband of those,
yes,
is it like elastic?
There is an elasticity to it. Now, what you're looking at there.
Does it have an actual fly, or is it?
There's a fly. Mine have the fly and an elastic waistband. I think that, like that right there that you're looking at. I think those were the swim shorts we were looking at a second ago. Right there, that's what I have. So it's a button, a fly, and some elasticity. There is a belt loop, but you don't need it because of the elastic waist.
Well, those actually, I mean, I've got friends that have some of those.
The chubby shorts.
The chubby shorts, yeah. I've got, and they're dressy.
That's the thing. It's like they're dressy, but I'm cool wearing it casual too. I mean, it's
but I mean, especially down in Florida. I mean, you could go out to like Hyde Park. You could wear that shirt and those shorts with a slip on, and you'd be golden.
Exactly. They're becoming all the rage, Chubbies. So guys, go out there and grab them, and make sure you use that code, because it lets them know that we're doing our job here. That's what it's all about. And everyone in the audience here did their job by going to KliqThisTV.com and becoming part of the 11 Soft Club for only $9.99 a month. Get to be part of our tapings every week. It is clearly the highlight of their weeks. I love reading their tweets when they come out of the room, and while they're watching here, get to hang with Uncle Kev and ask some questions and be part of the taping and the pre-show. And we're going to be doing a little special segment that our Kliq This people are going to learn about before our shows every week. So go to KliqThisTV.com and sign up. Kevin, who killed WCW, goddammit? Why are we still asking this question, is what I'd like to know.
Well, because I don't think that there's ever... Well, number one, like, if you watch the first 10 minutes of the documentary, half the guys on the crew didn't even know that WWF owned us. So by the time it was, the only vehicle there was to tell the story of WCW was the people that owned it, which was WWE, and they definitely weren't going to,
Right. So, you know what, though? It must have been liberating a little bit to do this gig because it was an outside company.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, Dwayne's on the board of WWE.
Yeah, he is now.
Yeah.
Was he at the time? When did I call you on this?
No,
he wasn't,
he wasn't.
right?
Okay. Not when it...
All right.
But there was a couple of things where I'm thinking, well, I said something else there that got edited.
But the notion that you could ever, for any company, forget WCW, take any company, BlackRock, whatever, any company that has trouble, any company that goes out of business, there's never going to be one factor. I guess it's titillating to say, though, who killed, but there's a persistence specifically with WCW all the time.
But it's because you got wrestling, because you have baseball fans, you have wrestling marks. So
are they not the same thing?
No, because
by a different name.
They're sitting there going, "Who killed WCW?" Well, who killed the fucking Braves? Because they got sold too. Was it us? Did we kill the Braves? Did we kill the Thrashers? Did we kill the Hawks? There was a fire sale at AOL because they had a .com crash. And, they can sit and they can talk all they want to about all this different shit. The one thing that's definitely being clearly shown is the other tower, because I was in the bunker with Eric it was like when he looked at me and just kind of said, "Man," and I said, "You want some help? I'll help you." I didn't say, "Hey, let me take over." I said, "You want some help?" And he was just like, "Yeah." And I went in creatively and helped. I wasn't.
Creative is not enough. Specific to the show we're talking about.
Of course it's not.
People blame Russo. They've blamed Bischoff. The executives took heat.
And it's like then it's one of the guys said it was like the added everybody was in it for themselves. It's just like
Conan, I think, said that.
Yeah,
that it was the selfishness. I think Conan killed WCW. Actually. But creative never is not enough to. You're talking about the size of this company. This isn't just WCW. This was Time Warner.
But you look at somebody like Segal.
Brad Segal.
Yeah, Brad Segal, who until I watched this last night, I had no idea what he was up to. I knew that he got let go, but I did do some research today, and he's doing a off-Broadway. It's a tribute, a one-man show to Truman Capote, which I heard is just excellent.
There's something in the visual that I see.
Yeah, you could almost feel that Capote vibe.
Mm-hmm.
The snippiness.
Was it Segal that said it was the talent entirely?
Yeah, it was the talent's fault.
Right.
Not to the fact that we were. I mean,
that's even the posture with the hand.
It's kind of if
I cast him.
If Capote and God, what was that guy's name?
Go back. Let me see again. Wallace Shawn. No.
God, who's the famous comedian that old school guy. Fuck.
There's a little late Brando in that too. In that photo. Are you thinking the guy from the Tonight Show with the black rim glasses? That
No, this is like an iconic guy. I just can't think of his. It's one of those deals where he looks like Capote, but in that picture right there, I just can't picture. And it's not. It's like in that George Burns era of guys.
Talent is never enough to destroy the company. The talent that was there at the time was fine. Everyone forgets. I want a show to be done. Who killed WWE for 83 weeks? Because you could have the exact same conversation about why WCW overtook. Now, here are some valid points. I want to throw these out and just see. This is off the top of my head because, Christ, everyone's been talking about this for 25 years. So, contract sizes. If that wasn't brought under control, would have damaged any company. Well, you don't think you're hemming and hawing at that. Why is that? You don't think that the outsized contracts and that initial impetus, which you might not have had the 83 weeks if you didn't do this. So I'm not saying that it's entirely wrong.
That's what I'm
management
saying.
of
it's like anything else. You can't pick and choose. To me, like you have to create the Frankenstein monster first. And then the Frankenstein monster has to get out of the castle and then go throw the kid who's picking the daisies in the lake before you've got a problem. But if there's no Frankenstein monster...
Right. So whatever the impetus was to get Frankenstein's monster, you had to do. So it was the management of those finances afterwards that was the issue, clearly. Right? Because you would have had no Kevin, you would have had no Scott, you would have had no Hulk if you couldn't.
But you also have to realize, and I know a lot of people don't know this, and it probably will not get brought up in this this documentary. But if you ever watched a WCW pay-per-view, at the end of it, the last thing was brought to you by, produced by, whatever, Turner Home Entertainment. So that's who was getting paid. Turner, when our biggest revenue that we had was the pay-per-views. And Turner Home Entertainment got that in their books. We didn't.
So what are you saying? So you're saying that when you said...
I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you cook the books...
But wouldn't that money have cascaded down? Like...
Not if they're spending $40 million on that Holocaust movie or whatever it was that was going on at the same time that opened at like a 0.3.
So outside of WCW's operations, you're talking about the other entertainment.
As Segal says, you know, we were building a premium cable channel, and they had to throw this on top of us. So, you know, the creative accounting was as much a problem, you know, as anything else was.
More so than Vince Russo's booking?
Yes.
If
you're just when it comes down to it, you're looking at the bottom line. So if it was so god awful, and Turner was going to pull the plug on it, I guess those fives and whatever we were doing we were the number one cable rated show for 2 years. We were on the so I think the way Ted looked at it was, he was doing probably a .7 per baseball game, and he didn't have a problem paying Maddox $10 million to pitch every five games. So, yeah.
Okay, fair. I'd love to see those, but I'd like to see what the rest of Turner Entertainment was doing and
well, good
how
luck,
how those
good luck,
losses were being dispersed.
Good luck, because I sued them and they shredded all the
What was your
paperwork
suit over for back pay?
on everything, merchandise, everything. Like I waited, then they said, we don't own this anymore. I wasn't going to sue them while I was hitting the ATM. The minute they became Universal Wrestling Corporation, I was like, oh, gravy train stopped? Time to cash in. And I sued them. And they weren't going to do anything. They just act like it wasn't happening. All of a sudden, we got a court date, and they went, and Taylor was my attorney, God rest his soul. And Taylor said, yeah, we can't wait to go to trial and tell them that you guys basically shredded the financial paperwork from WCW.
So they couldn't produce any of the financials.
Much like the moon landing. There's no schematics or any. If
Is that this episode? The great conspiracy theories of the world.
But I mean, Ron Howard was going to do
by Truman Capote.
Ron Howard was going to do a documentary on the Apollo thing, and he went to NASA, and they didn't have any. They had nothing to show them. Like, we got nothing. We don't know how we don't know how mathematically anything how we got to the moon.
Well, we know we've been to the moon since, right? The hell? So this is
I haven't.
So all this. The next SpaceX launch down by you. Maybe you can jump on.
It took off today. There was some. Finally, the manned Malaysian flight 325 took off from Florida today.
Eric Bischoff had the most cogent statement when, I think it was Eric, in talking in this episode, when he said it was death by 1,000 cuts. And to try to attribute one incident would be, I mean, it makes for good sound bites and good good entertainment.
I mean, it's like anything else, you know.
Throwing out accusations. It's the talent.
Yeah, I mean.
Were you surprised by anything you saw? Other than how well Brad Segal held up?
Heavens to Betsy. Who is that? The comedian. He came across kind of, oh my. No, not Don Rickles. He came across very feminine.
I know who you're talking about, too, because I can hear the voice. And
he was just, yeah.
Did have the glasses.
Heavens to Betsy.
I'm gonna find it. Good. Were you surprised by anything on this episode?
No, because I was talking to the guys that were running the show. So, see what going forward, which I think is going to be the best part of this, is they actually come to you and they show your clip to say Bill. They show something I say to Goldberg. And I look on a computer, on a tablet, and watch Bill's rebuttal, and then I do a rebuttal to that.
Right.
Which is, I mean, I thought that was pretty. So I think that will be pretty interesting.
Okay.
But I think at the same time too, it's just like they try. It's like anybody that's not over it. You know?
Anyone that's
just not over the whole, like, anybody that holds a grudge to anybody I don't know. I'm just not that person.
Well, are they drumming? Are they
are they putting on some of this passion as who cares really? All these years.
I would
later?
hope. I don't. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think I could be more cavalier in this thing, and then, yeah.
Well, you did have a very chill type vibe for your segment.
Well, they weren't paying me that much, so I was stoned to the fucking bone.
You did just fine for that. So
I haven't been stoned on this show in ages.
Well, I mean, you're getting rave reviews for your. You never told me also how many milligrams the microdose for psilocybin is.
I know that a package of it is 6 grams. 6 grams of fucking. You will trip on 6 grams.
Yeah, but it's how much? I mean, are they edibles or what are they? Pills?
Yeah.
Edibles. Okay. Yeah, there was
There's
a piece on it.
Gummies. There's chocolates.
There was a piece on it in Esquire this month I was reading, and the guy was talking about his increased level of creativity since doing. I think it was 0.25 milligrams he was taking. I don't know where that stands. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about it. You know, I talked to one person about this and then I talked to the company. And so
before we get off the WCW show, I said half jokingly that let's do a show called Who Killed WWE for 83 weeks. Was it you and Scott?
No. Us leaving, I mean, you still had Taker, you still had Brett, you still had Shawn Michaels. I think that they had I think what happened was us leaving didn't help things, but us leaving and giving, like, everybody that was pretty much left, if you weren't one of those top, 5 guys, you were an occupation. I think people actually refer to it as the occupational wrestling era. You had a plumber fighting a cop who was fighting a hockey player who was fighting, and that wasn't what people wanted.
So bad creative decisions, but also you talked openly about like looking at catering, like you guys started to see. I think we might have done an episode about no water will be distributed at Titan Tower anymore.
I believe that was a give me a sandwich.
So you started to see financial decline prior.
Oh, it was taking longer and longer and longer. The trials, first we had Ico Pro that we funded. Then we funded the bodybuilding. Then we funded the trial. So.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting there, too. Okay, so all of those drains on the resources of that company.
In the meantime, I'm greener than I guess would be goose shit, and
the green, green.
Yeah. So it's one of those situations when I sat, because up until Vince got beat for 83 or 84 weeks, whatever it was, Vince still thought that the American idea of what America wanted in wrestling was they wanted a big, giant blonde-haired guy with a flag in the corner, waving it after a victory. And I remember I've said it a million times. I'll say it one more time because it fits in with the death of WCW. And the movie Heat had came out. And I said, did you see Heat? And Vince said, yeah. And I said, who were you for? He goes, what do you mean? I said, did you want De Niro or Pacino to go over? And he said, De Niro. I said, De Niro was the heel. And I could see it in his face. I see him kind of like, I said, the Crow. I said, the anti-hero is now the hero. So.
Correct. Yeah, good example of Heat. I always use the Tarantino films when the bad guys started talking cooler.
And if you look at it, like I dragged the belt. I changed a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
I tried anyway. Like I was the first person to ever go on any talk show for that company and wasn't in gear. I did the Regis and Kathy Lee. I wore a blue suit with a tie.
Uh-huh.
And I got fucking shit for it.
From?
Vince.
Because he wanted you to look like a wrestler, not an athlete.
Yeah, that's when there's a picture of me with, I'm standing next to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at some fundraiser, and I've got a tuxedo on with the sleeves cut off. And silver lapels. I mean, it's like, I'm like, just like, dude, I'm semi-articulate. I know enough about enough shit. I can work a room if you fucking let me be comfortable at least. Like, I don't want to go hide in a corner. I don't have 24-inch fucking guns. We're fucking drug tested.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're killing us.
Out of touch. A little out of touch. For the time.
Yeah, the times were changing.
Yeah.
I remember in 1977, maybe it was 78, probably 78 because I was in college. And I was with a buddy of mine that was on our basketball team, white guy from Salem, Ohio, named Mike Stapleton. He had a Chevelle SS, jacked
It always
up
goes
like
back to the car, doesn't it? So far today. We had the Pinto, the Chevelle
it was a Bobcat.
SS, the Bobcat Pinto.
Bobcat. So, but just because you gotta kind of, it's like
It's from you because you're from Detroit.
But it's also the description of we're writing a movie. So you
the character of the person and what they drive.
Yeah,
I get it. Okay.
Yeah, so it's easier to visualize.
So he's driving what obscure car that I'm supposed to know is this again?
It's a Chevelle.
Oh, a Chevelle, a Chevy
an
Chevelle.
SS.
I know.
Yeah, an SS.
Okay.
Yeah, and he put in a cassette, and it was the Cars. And I'd never heard anything like that in my life. And it was Candio.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, and we were stoned. And I remember thinking to myself, like, whoa, fuck, man. Like, because I've been listening to R&B my whole life. I've really never listened to anything like this before. I listened to Beatles. My brother listened to a lot of, I listened to Neil Young growing up. I was actually Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. But I listened to some Allman Brothers growing up. But like this, the Cars were so different. And I just think that, like Vince was still, was just behind the times a little bit.
Right.
And so.
Got it. Speaking of behind the times, this is it's time for the tap out, and our friends at BLUECHEW are once again bringing us the tap out, which Kevin will enjoy is a little more Corey Feldman. Oh, we got back to Corey 3-4 weeks, and we got to go back to Feldman. But folks, if you're having an issue, if you're lacking a little confidence in the bedroom, maybe you just want that boost, you want that guarantee that you're going to be able to perform when you're called to step to the plate, BLUECHEW is what you need. Okay, BlueChew.com is where you're going to go to recapture those days when you were ready to go at the drop of a dime. They are the unique online service, Blue Chew is, that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. Look at the world we live in. Everything's taken care of for us. All doubt is removed. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy, for God's sakes. Comes right to you in the mail. You take care of it online. And they want to help you have better sex, guys, so discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. We've got a special deal, as always, for the listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use the promo code NASH at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code NASH to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Tap Out. So how about a little?
Before we do
Yes,
that,
please,
because I've got it. Okay.
Who was it? The comedian? Because it's killing me. I hope you found it.
I got it. Can we see that?
Oh, you see, I was thinking of somebody completely different.
No, Jack Benny.
Jack Benny. Did Jack Benny wear the glasses at one time? Maybe I'm thinking of late Jack Benny. I think I'm thinking of late Jack Benny. Because I saw him with those pointed glasses on the side.
No, I mean that's his.
I'm seeing him on the Tonight Show in the.
That image right there is. I mean, he had these. This was. You probably think this is very Segal. Oh, where's it at?
That's exactly what. That's the era I'm thinking of. That's late Jack Benny. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Right
Eat my CTE. I pulled that shit out of my ass.
Well done. Thank God, because I wasn't able to think about anything.
Oh, it drove me nuts.
I'm sitting here trying to talk about, fucking Vince and the pig farmers and
you went into the Blue Chew and I had it and I went, oh fuck, I lost it.
Right, but Blue Chew brought it back.
I tell you, but was it yesterday? Yesterday, I think somebody switched my Xanax with a Blue Chew. Because, I mean, I woke up at like 7 o'clock. It was just like, whoa. And, I mean, it was just like,
Still in the system, huh?
I don't know what was in my system, but geez.
Three-legged race to the can.
Ugh. That's people would. I've never understood this as long as I live, and they say you wake up and the term is always a piss boner.
Mm-hmm.
I had a piss boner, and you know what it's like having to sit there and bend that thing down and I'm like, and I'd listen to this story and I go, "But you don't have a shower? What do you mean? You fucking walk in the shower and you piss on the wall? What do you mean?" You turn the shower on, you rinse it down, you flick the towel off, and you go back to bed. Don't bend my shit.
Do you think women know? Do you think women know how absolutely fucking depraved we are when they are out of eyesight? What we do to our homes.
How about those? Whose idea is this? You stay at a $300 a night hotel. They don't give you a navy blue or a black washcloth. They just give you white ones. So when you wash your ass, you spend more time cleaning
the washcloth.
The washcloth, so you don't come across as some fucking pig to the housekeeping personnel. It's just like I spent more time this weekend in New Orleans cleaning these washcloths, and it's just like.
We had all
it's not like
white.
It's not like I'm getting waxed every week. I'm a dude.
We had all white towels and washcloths, and not for this reason, but I have 3 women in my home. The makeup, which does not come off these things, so we went the way of dark gray for our most recent round of
Tamara bought me. She just bought me a new set of 8 navy blues.
Why don't you just get brown? Just let's remove all doubt.
No, because and the thing is it's one and done. It sits on. You get done with it, and it goes into this on top of the thing where it kind of sits over like somebody's got a bandana up there, and it sits till it dries, and then you throw it out and put it in the hand because you don't want that thing wet touching anything. It's got to be dry that you can move it on. But
what do you think Jack Benny drove?
Jack Benny?
Mm-hmm. What do you see him in?
18-year-old college kid.
Oh, do you ever watch the Comedians in Cars Coffee? I probably asked you this on the air.
I think I saw. That's the one with Seinfeld, right?
Seinfeld, yeah. They're like little 20-minute things they drive around.
I've seen a couple of them.
I enjoy them greatly because they're very short, no commitment, But the thing he always does is, because he's a collector of cars and he knows all the shit he tries to pair the car that he's going to pick the person up in to the talent. So there's that little moment of, so-and-so's a classic, so I thought nothing better than the Plymouth blah, blah, blah.
Right. Jack Benny, what, do we know what Jack Benny drove?
I don't. Steve probably is going to pull that up in a minute. You could probably get a picture of the underside of his balls too, based on what AI can do.
What Jack Benny drove?
Given the time period, it's going to be. I see it as a large vehicle, not one of the MG type.
No, I got Bel Air maybe.
Okay. We'll find out.
What is it? What is his?
A 1923 Maxwell Tourer.
That's actually what it is?
Yeah.
He died in 1974.
Mm-hmm.
He was, 27 to 74? No, that's his spouse. Oh, he was born in 1894.
There's the car, Kev.
Fucking Jack Benny fucking styling and profiling.
Yeah. It's obviously a collection car. You probably didn't take that to Katz's Deli for pastrami. Was he Jewish? They were all Jewish, right? All the old comedians.
I don't know. I know that his success was, I just looked at it. His success was it started as a vaudevillian violin player. Remember he used to play the violin?
No.
Yeah.
Believe you, though, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, it is time for Florida Man or Jersey Guy. The return of 2 real headlines, one from the antics of a Florida man and one from the antics of a Jersey guy. Kevin will use his freakish powers to discern one from the other, as he always does.
Or is it a Brad Segal or a Jack Benny guy?
I think next week that's going to make an appearance.
Alrighty. I missed the last one.
What's that?
This last time we played this, Well,
it was a few weeks ago. We did the Dear Sexy last week, but so we'll bring it back. I thought maybe you needed a break after the one. Your record is still rather impressive, and you'd probably be in first place in the NBA with only 4 or 5 losses last 2 years. All right, first headline: 2 men allegedly stole 140 shopping carts from a store, leading to a shortage. Second headline: wanted man found with drugs after getting lost in the woods and calling deputies for help. So, first headline:
Jersey's 1, Florida 2.
Yes, it is. The Jersey guys stole 140 shopping carts, thinking they'd be inconspicuous, which led to the shortage at...
You couldn't find 140 shopping carts someplace in Florida.
This was in Newark.
The homeless people got them all.
Two men arrested in Newark are being called career criminals. Let's see. Oh, so this is over time causing a shortage in the city. So the career criminals, police say they aren't stealing things like jewelry or cars. They're allegedly swiping shopping carts. On any given day, there typically used to be about 400 to 500 shopping carts available at ShopRite supermarkets. So, yeah, so their crime spree. It was 77-year-old Alfredo Rodriguez and 54-year-old Hector Cortez, who made the news.
I wonder how they like where they put them in the back of a truck or.
I don't know. And is there a market? Like, what's the end game? Like, if you get the jewels,
maybe if you break the plastic off that inside that tells you where it's from, but usually they've gotten to the point where in the old days it was like in the handle, like screwed in the handle. It would say like
right.
Wrigley's shopping, food center or whatever, and then. What was your place that your mom did grocery shopping when you were a kid? Ours was Wrigley's.
Wrigley, I never even heard of. We didn't have Wrigley's up here. Up here we had.
Did you have Farmer Jack's?
Nope. Food Town, ShopRite. When I was a kid, it was like Food Town or ShopRite. Now it's Stop and Shop. I know down by you they have Publix.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, I think the Wrigley's got bought out by Kroger.
Kroger I've heard of. We don't have Kroger here. Like some of those when I travel, I'll see a Kroger or Safeway's the other one you see sometimes. Publix in Florida.
Michigan was like kind of ahead of the curve. Like I think before Walmart's, we had those Myers Thrifty Acres up in Detroit.
I've heard of that. Did you guys have Two Guys? Department stores? Sears. You must have had Sears, right?
Yeah, we had Sears. Did you have Corvettes? EJ Corvettes?
No.
Did you have Federals?
Nope.
Kresge?
Mm-mm. Everything was so regional.
Kresge was, I think,
Wasn't he the one that could read the audience's mind on the Tonight Show?
That was Kreskin.
What does he drive? Turning into Art Donovan doing commentary for the Royal Rumble. What does he drive?
What does he weigh?
Go ahead. Kresge's. Never heard of Kresge's.
I think Kresge's was the father or the of Kmart. It was Kresge's turned into Kmart.
Oh, see, now we had Kmart's. All right. Pee break?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh God. Fucking ass is
this is a fun one.
Kicked tonight. Yeah. Sure. We'll do some questions.
I was trying to figure out what a scrapyard would pay for a shopping cart.
Okay.
But I can't do even if they paid 10 cents a pound and a shopping cart is 40 pounds, that's still not worth stealing so many of them.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, we all want to know why. And yes, the SS Kresge Corporation was $18.99, and then they rebranded as Kmart in 1977.
That's amazing. I had no idea. No clue. All right, I'm going to come back in Mando and then go into the... we have questions from everybody?
We do.
All right, my peeps. Kev's done. He's just like, fuck it, I'm leaving.
You and I are going to do a show with an empty chair.
That's it. I'm good.
We'll
tell everyone it's fucking Sky Low in the chair. Or they don't do, we can't even say midget wrestling anymore, right? We have to say little people wrestling. Doesn't work.
It's kind of like the R word. That it's
You know,
not,
the thing is,
it's not descriptive. It's just like the stigma at a certain point. You just don't say it anymore.
Right. Why? This is what I don't understand. And somebody has to connect me with the floating committee that makes these determinations on what language is correct or incorrect. Who says that midget is bad and dwarf is good and little person's good? And when does the committee get together and vote? Why are we saying words a bit? Hornswoggle would always say, he said, I'm a midget. It's midget. He said, dwarf doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. I'm a midget. So he didn't have a problem with it. But I guess people do. People who aren't little people, midgets, have the problems. Always. It's always the people who are not affected by this. It's always the non-Native Americans who say that the team shouldn't be called the Redskins. But then when the Native Americans talk, they say, no, we want to be the Redskins. Get off my soapbox.
I think there are a lot of Native Americans that didn't like that name. But I don't actually know.
I'm being serious that one of them is one of them's coming back because they kind of collectively elected a tribal chief who said, we don't have a problem with this. I feel it might be the Redskins. Kevin, do you know about this?
I'm sorry. I was taking a urine break.
No, just like I thought that maybe it was the Redskins that are going to brand as the Redskins again because the Native American community said we didn't have a problem with this.
If any of the teams shouldn't have had a problem with it, would be the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah,
well, they're Warriors now.
Right. I don't think it was them.
Cleveland.
They're the Guardians.
Yeah, they're the sorry, you're right. They're the Guardians.
They're the Guardians. That's and they've got like 2 Guardians in some fucking bridge in Cleveland. That was what they came up with. What?
Oofa.
I understand if you want to take away the fucking, the mask of the drawing of the mascot was.
All right, back with Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. And, hey, baseball fans, do you hate foul balls? We're talking the Cleveland Indians here. So if you hate foul balls, you know the kind I'm talking about, all right? No matter how hard you scrub them in the shower with your white cloth, they smell like last week's nacho cheese, all right? So ditch the soap, step up to the plate with MANDO Whole Body Deodorant, developed by a doctor. This game-changing formula is safe for your entire body and knocks out odor like a champ because it's made with mandelic acid, okay? And you know what that does, obviously? It picks off odor at the source, keeping you fresh for 72 hours. It's available in solid sticks, the invisible cream, the body wash, which I had, which was great. I had the stick, deodorant wipes, which Kevin tipped off everyone. Throw those in your shoes when you put them by the door, and you'll be ready to go. I have the cream right now, the white cream, which is a wonderful, not an oppressive scent, but a real smooth, clean scent, and it's attacking odor at its source, chemically, at the cellular level. So don't let foul balls ruin your game, okay? I want you to switch to MANDO. Keep your body odor in fair territory. Special offer, new customers get $5 off MANDO's best-selling starter pack with the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at shopmando.com. All right, shopmando.com. This is different than deodorant that's just going to cover things up. This whole body deodorant, which is good for anywhere on the body, mind you, pits, package, butt crack, any crevice or fold that you've got. It is safe to put the stick in. Created by a doctor, he saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, okay? Aluminum-free, baking soda-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and vegan, and clinically proven to control odor better than a shower or soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor level is 5 out of 10. With MANDO, average grundle odor, 0 out of 10. Okay, so go get that starter pack, okay, the MANDO starter pack, perfect for new customers, and we have that code for you, okay? It's KLIQ. $5 off. That's going to be 40% off your starter pack if you use the code KLIQ, KLIQ, at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. And it is time for Ask Nash. Hashtag Ask Nash is how you do that, or you join the Kliq This TV 11 Soft Club and join us right here. Like Serge has sent, hey Kev, given that you're from Detroit and I'm from Chicago, how was it like working with Dennis Rodman in the NWO? He's one of my favorite basketball players of all time and left a big footprint in both cities. Any cool stories to share on your experience with the Worm? With love from Chicago, thank you, Kevin Sean.
I mean, he was chill. I mean, he was one of those guys that I think he was, like when you got alone with him and talked to him, and he was just a quiet, with nothing outrageous.
A handful for Phil Jackson, though, right?
Yeah,
less so for Chuck. I feel like Chuck had like
I
a
think
parental
Chuck had-
thing with him.
Yeah, Chuck had like a father figure thing.
Right.
I think the Zen Master just, I don't think and he was in his Carmen Electra phase, and he left, didn't go to practice, and came to smoke Cuban cigars with us. So I can see how Phil might have a problem with that.
Michael Carter says, who's the most unassuming defenseman in NBA history? Who did people take for granted that would just shut guys down?
I mean, I it's so hard because like you think about Dumars was Joe Dumars from the Pistons was. I think even Jordan said that he was a son of a bitch.
Cooper. How about Michael Cooper?
Cooper was good. Like Dennis Johnson was a beast. Let me think. It's funny. I've got to say this because I was watching a piece the other day. Man, they are beating the fuck out of that Caitlyn Clark in the WNBA. They're just knocking her around, and they're not like she took it to the hole. And if it would have been LeBron, it would have been a flagrant. They probably would have thrown the person out of the game. And Caitlyn Clark took it to the hole, and she got walloped in the head. She didn't get a foul. She didn't get shoot free throws. I mean, it's just like they're beating the shit out of her, and I'm thinking to myself like.
Well, that's her welcome to the league when you come in with that much press, of course.
But there's a lot of eyes on her, too, and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I get that she's getting a lot more than, like the one girl said, like, okay, yeah, she can shoot jump shot. So, but I mean, it's, well, like you said, welcome to the league, and it is too, man. It's just like, it really showed me, because I watched that the girl from Connecticut that D'd her ass up, and I'm thinking, if somebody is determined to beat on her and use 5 fouls, you can take her out of her game. She's frail. She needs to hit the weight room.
Pseudonym 1821. Hey, Sean and Kev, the 100th episode was an incredible tribute to Tristan's memory. Very touching show. A question for you on that note. Was there anyone you may have had heat with back in the day that reached out to offer condolences? And if so, mend fences in that regard. Trying to see the blue sky through the clouds. Love you guys.
No, that was one of those situations, man, where even my closest friends didn't. I mean, it's just like they didn't know what to fucking, I mean, what do you say?
Mm-hmm. But there was nobody who maybe you didn't see eye to eye with in the past that...
No, my closest friends didn't know what to say and didn't reach out, a lot of them. Let alone somebody that's, hey, let me go ahead and, here's a good time to maybe fucking see if I can loosen that scab. No, I called Flair, like I think the next day after he passed, because I knew that Rick had lost a son, and I was just like how? And he goes, "You don't." And that's all I needed to hear, man. I just needed to know that it's never gonna get better. So.
Mark Caps, your personal thoughts on your match with Taker at WrestleMania 12. First match I ever saw of both of you and became an instant fan right there. Doesn't get talked about enough.
Well, Mark, I mean, Mark's great. He's very talented. It's very hard to have a bad match with Undertaker.
Right. Live audience, who's here with some questions? Let's see. Dan Updike. Have to completely get rid of one movie, Casino or Goodfellas, and why? I think I'm keeping Casino since Goodfellas loses the mob feel when Coke gets brought in.
I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah, I would.
Casino to me is a Goodfellas ripoff.
Because stylistically it's similar.
But there's not that shot. That shot when they go into the Copa.
Into the club, right?
We were like the Kennedys, but with muscle. Like
there's some beautiful cinematography. I want to say, Richardson was the cinematographer on. If Wesley was here, he'd know. Yeah, Goodfellas stays. Goodfellas is a timeless classic. So iconic. The sequences, adventurous camera work, and not visual ping pong for the sake of it. It all had logic. It was all comfortable, and any movement of the camera, any manipulation of the viewer's eye was done to help us feel like we were there, not watching, but we were there.
Like one of my favorite scenes in that movie is when De Niro's telling Karen to go in at the end of that, like, where there's go pick you up. No, they're right in there. And all of a sudden,
some dresses. I got some dresses.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, man, you can just see that terror on her face. Oh, I'm fine.
Nothing might have happened, but you're not thinking that way at the time.
No.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how many times in my life I've Karen, where's the Karen? What?
That was all we had.
What were you thinking?
So many great moments. Even subtle, small shit when you see it for 400 times. When sitting around the table with the mother after they.
Yeah, but when the guy's running his mouth across the street, and he goes over and he's got and he bashes him. Most girls would have just, but I don't know. It just kind of turned me on. He answered, bloody 38.
He actually went to jail for that, Henry Hill, in real life. There's no consequence in the film to him beating the guy, but he actually did time for that. When they're sitting around the table and he's the mother makes dinner for them at midnight when they come in to.
After they killed.
Were they looking for bags or something or lime that was at the mother's house? And she comes and sit down and eat. And they're all sitting telling stories. And Pesci's like, "Ma, that reminds me, I need this knife. I got to take this for something tonight. We hit a deer. I told you we hit the deer, and he got the paw. What do you call it? The paw?" The Nero goes, "The hoof. The hoof. Whatever it is. It's stuck in the car." Who else from the audience here? What do we got? The hoof. What do you think De Niro drove?
He didn't. He lived in a city.
EP. If you had to live in a city that didn't reside in California, Florida, Arizona, Michigan, which would it be? California, Florida, Arizona, Michigan. So that's all of your from Florida now, Arizona before, Michigan. Lived. Yeah. Where were you in California?
Well, I mean, I've been there. Longest yard was 120 days.
Yeah, that's practically like living there for half.
That's enough.
How about I throw out some names? You say yes or no. Seattle?
No.
No. Anything in Texas? Dallas, Houston?
No. Politically,
Boston.
I couldn't live there.
Boston.
Too cold.
Cold. I was going to say you have to deal with the weather a little.
I could live in Taos, New Mexico.
Why? It's going to be hot as balls down there.
New Mexico? No, it's in the northern. I think Julia Roberts got a crib there. I could live in Vegas probably.
Okay. Who else from the house? What we got in the house? Kev, you going to SummerSlam?
Yeah, I plan on it. I'm going to go to WrestleCon. So
Okay.
I'm on the poster. I used to like get good billing on the poster. Now I'm in the background because I've no showed the last couple.
You don't want to commit to that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Put Nash in the back. He might show
Oh, God.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Pinball Wizard 809. Oh, hang on, David. Let me just get this one in here. Pinball Wizard 809. Do you guys think part of being such great dads is from losing your fathers at a young age? I didn't grow up with mine, and it drives me to be the best possible dad to my kids.
I think the opposite. I mean, I think I was a super dad up until 8. When T was 8, and then it was like I could only, I kind of emulated what my dad did with me. So then it was kind of, I knew that from talking to a lot of mothers that like raised their kids, because it's just very rarely that there's a single father, and and it was like, because my mom raised us for a little bit, and I think that it wasn't until probably when I came back from being overseas, probably during that Bobcat, early Bobcat era, that me and my mom became friends.
Isn't that always the
no
case?
longer-
You get the
right,
Pinto and...
you get the Pinto, and it's you lose, but it's just it's something about it. It's that subtle statement, when everybody goes a carrot and you go 2, it's just that little bit extra.
But no plaid in the seats.
No. Mine was a very dark green with a black interior.
I don't know the answer to that, Pinball Wizard. It's worth thinking about. There's certainly never anything conscious that crosses my mind about my father's parenting. Where there's times I hear myself and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you sound like a parent. You got to stop this. But if it's happening, it's happening.
Don't you think also it was such a different era? Like, like dads came home from work and it was so Mad Men, like my dad came home from work and like he'd bring I guess on a Saturday, my dad would get up and like I'd bring my dad his slippers.
I didn't.
He'd be sitting at the table, and then after dinner every night, I used to sit in my dad's lap.
Oh, see, that's cool. See, generationally, you have me by a few years, so I think the time you were talking about, like I was 70s, so I would be talking about when I was a kid in the 70s, whereas you'd be talking about being a kid in the early 60s. So there was, I think, a big thing too. And
because Bob used to sit right underneath the fucking phone with the 6-foot cord.
Right.
Avocado.
See, my dad, work was kind of sporadic. Like he owned a bar for a while, and guys would come to the house for whatever to talk to him and say things. I remember one guy, Don, walked in with a leather jacket. I thought it was the coolest thing because I like the Fonz. And he goes, "Hey, kid, this is for you." And he threw me an Evel Knievel electric toothbrush. So Don was over in my book, but I never saw him again, and I don't think anyone did. But so it was kind of a less normal home in that respect. There were no slippers. There was no time that he was home. drinking frequently. So I thought everyone's parent went through a liter of vodka a night, and you only know what you know as a kid, right? So that was what I knew. Who else here has questions, I wonder? David Van Bogelen. Hey, guys, I just got my first of 2 spine fusions scheduled, L5S1, then both S1 joints. Have either of you had neck or spine fusions? And if so, how much better do you feel after?
I've never. I've been able to avoid any fusions by having stem cells.
Right. I had stenosis that was pinching a nerve in my neck down through my arm and into my thumb and forefinger for months. It was horrible, but I went to physical therapy. I don't know how much that helped me, or did it just go away because of the way your body grows, but it just stopped. I never had them go in, but they did talk about possibly having to go in and file.
They went in and cleaned out my neck twice.
Right. Yeah,
But
that's
I
what
didn't
they
have
were
anything
talking
fused.
about. Who else? How about another?
But I can't say that because if you look on an MRI now, just time has fused my 4 and 5. Like
they grew into each other.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The bone spurs that come over the top that look like shark's teeth.
Claws. Yeah. Wow.
Everything just kind of
Well, being being 7% Neanderthal, that kind of shit's gonna happen.
We did have a great picture of a Neanderthal today. I've sent you.
You did. Let me see if I have that somewhere. It was an actual museum.
Yes. It's
sculpture.
It's amazing.
And was it on Insta or did you text that?
I sent it on Instagram.
Okay.
So I sent it to you and my wife.
Yeah, how about that? So this is actual early woman. I'm going to show you first right there. And then maybe she's in the Senate. Like, which is which? I don't know. You'd have to think about it. Oh, how about another one from the house? One more. Wrap us up, somebody. Hi, Britt. Uncle Kevo, I have a weird feeling about this hurricane season. How do you and Auntie Tamara prepare? Have you ever had one where you were worried about the end result, or are you used to it?
No.
No, you're not used to it, or no?
No, you're never used to it. You just keep dodging them. You pray. I mean, this year's, it went, I think they added like 7 named storms like a month ago. So it's going to be, it seems to me that everything's going to be coming through the Gulf, but a lot of the things that come through the Gulf are going to hook and go eastern.
But die off a little before it gets over to
state's so. I mean, Charlie came. I mean, that state is so thin.
Yeah.
And those storms are so big now. There's still 7 or 8 lots on the ocean in my neighborhood that are. I mean, the houses they fell in, and there's several more that that are for sale as is, with a home with no windows. And I mean, you go on the beach side, and they're still trying to get, ready for this. There's a house going up, and I can't believe. I mean, I would not build on something that was reclaimed until after a couple of storms bounced off that wall.
Right. You'll be in the same boat.
Yeah.
Or not in a boat. I'll be down there at the end of the month into the July. I guess I'll do 4th of July down there because I want to hear fireworks constantly all night long for 3 days when I need to sleep. So
it's important. Usually starts like the 3rd at noon.
I know.
And then like somewhere around the 11th, they at 4 o'clock in the morning they decide to stop.
Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Jack Benny, Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2024, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, you want to do another one?
My boy, of course.
Let us free to fade away into eternity. Circulate, you've come to love me, but now I'm frozen in dead flesh. Oh, Sophie, knew all along it was a dream, but the customer service never answers the thing. Let us free to breathe in air we're supposed to breathe. Through twists and turns, you've come to love me. Now I'm cold, I'm frozen. Baby, we're broken, and the customer service never answers a thing. Yeah, the customer service never